Hi everyone, I'm Daria. Today I'm going to teach you how to crochet a pot holder. This is a very easy project and I definitely recommend it to total beginners. That can be your first crocheting project. Welcome back to DaryaCrochetLife. On this channel, I post knitting and crochet lessons, simple and not so simple tutorials on how to make different knitting and crochet projects. So if any of that interests you, please subscribe to my channel. Here you can see all the materials and tools that we will need today for our tutorial. So first of all, you will need a yarn. So I decided to take some leftover yarn that I have from previous projects, and I just like these colors. I have two balls, pink and gray yarn. You can take two balls as well, or you can have just one color, it doesn't really matter. And I have another ball of yarn with this label, so we are not going to use this dark like charcoal yarn. I just wanted to show you the label. So this yarn is from the brand Estelle Worsted. And this yarn is 50% acrylic, 40% wool, and 10% nylon. And in 100 gram there are 200 meters. And they recommend us to use 4.5 millimeter needles or hook, but we will take smaller hook because I want the fabric to be tighter, because that's going to be a pot holder. So one more time, you can take any yarn that you like. Just take something in light, bright color, because that would be easy for you to work, especially if you're a beginner. I will work with this hook. It's a 4 millimeter crochet hook, or please focus, G or 6. Because as I said, I want my fabric to be a little bit tighter, so that's why I'm taking a little bit smaller hook that is recommended on the yarn label. You will also need scissors. You will need tapestry needle. That's the needle with big hole. This type of needle is my favorite because it has bended tip. It's very easy to work with. And you will need stitch markers, 4 or 5 stitch markers. Okay, let's start crocheting. The first thing that we will need to do is a little square, and we will work back and forth, and we will do just simple single crochet stitches. But before doing that, we need to make our foundation chain. But before doing a foundation chain, we need to make a slip knot. So you don't really need a hook for that. You can use just your fingers to do a slip knot. Drape the working yarn over your index finger like this. Then hold 2 ends with your other hand, with your left hand. Twirl your index like this. Insert your thumb into the loop. And then hold this short end with these 2 fingers. And with these 2, thumb and index, you need to catch the working yarn like that. And then you can take these 2 ends with your other hand and pull it to opposite directions like that. So right now we have a slip knot. So then you can take your hook, insert it into the loop, adjust the size of the loop by pulling the working yarn. So I'm pulling the working yarn and I'm making my loop a little bit smaller. And then I need to chain 16 stitches. So yarn over, pull through. This is 1. Yarn over, pull through. This is 2. Constantly move your fingers. This is 3, 4, and 5, and you need to make 16. All right, I have 16 chains. Please be careful, count your stitches. That's very, very important. After that, we will skip the last stitch, the last chain. You don't touch, you don't do anything with the last stitch, and you insert your hook into the second last stitch under top loop only. So you insert your hook and you should have just one loop, just one top loop. Don't count this one. Then yarn over, pull through that stitch, have 2 loops on the hook, adjust the size of these 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2. So this is how you make your single crochet. Then be careful, don't make single crochet into the same hole one more time. You see, if I stretch my work, I will see that this hole is already occupied by my first single crochet. So that is a sign for me that I need to go and use the next chain, and I insert my hook through the top loop only, and I'm doing my next single crochet. So, and I need to work like that to the end of this row. And at the end of this row, I should have 15 stitches. That's because we had 16 chains at the very beginning, but I skipped the last stitch. And in total, in every row, you should have 15 single crochet. I have 15 single crochet. If you're a beginner, please count your stitches after every row. That's not a lot of stitches, and if you made a mistake in this row, it's always easy to remake just one row than remaking the whole thing. So make sure that you have 15 stitches. How to count your stitches? So you never count this loop on the hook. You start counting your V's. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So the last one, it's a little bit tricky as well. So this one is 14, and this last V is 15. So count your stitches after every row, and keep track of how many rows you're doing, because later it can be complicated for you to count your rows as well. So second row and all other rows, you work the same way. You start by making a chain, so yarn over and pull through. This is chain. Then you need to turn your work like you're turning a page in a book if you're right-handed crocheter. So you turn it like this, like we're turning a page in a book. In this case, the turning chain is not twisted and we can still see it. Look from the top, you see the first V. This V you need to skip. You don't do anything with that turning chain. And you need to use the second V, which is the last single crochet from the previous row, and you need to insert your hook under both loops like that into that first stitch. And you're making single crochet the same way like you were doing it before, and that's it. Then you just use next hole. It's very easy to see, like you see, if I stretch my work, I see that this hole is already occupied by my single crochet, so I need to go into the next one. Please check that you have 2 loops, because sometimes we can have just 1 loop. This is wrong. So insert your hook and make sure that you have 2 loops and make your second single crochet. So, and work like that to the end. At the end, please count your stitches. You always need to have 15 single crochet. And please keep track of how many rows you are doing. We need to make 15 rows in total. So 15 stitches in every row and 15 rows in total. I'm at the end of the second row and I'm confused. Do we need to make one more stitch? It looks like I do, but I'm not sure if this is a V or not. So if you're in the same situation, please count how many stitches you already have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have 14 stitches. That means I definitely need to make one more. And this is the place, the spot. I insert my hook, and sometimes you can pick just one loop. Be careful. Look from the top and pick 2 loops of the last single crochet and make your last stitch like that. You can count your stitches one more time to be 100% sure that you have correct number of stitches. And then you start your row number 3 the same way like you were doing your second row. So let me show you one more time. You chain 1, you turn your work like you're turning a page in a book like this, and then you skip the turning chain and insert your hook into the next stitch. So if I look from top, it's very, very easy to see. And I start doing my first stitch. Make sure that you insert it under both loops and make 15 stitches in this row. So work like that until you will have 15 rows. Okay, I finished 15 rows of my single crochet, and in every row I had 15 stitches. So if you don't know how to count your rows, let me show you. From one side, like you can see those ridges, a ridge, a ridge, a ridge, ridge, ridge. So each of these ridges, they consist of 2 rows, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So from one side you can see that this is the beginning of the ridge. So that means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and this is half of the ridge, row 15. After that, if you don't have another color, so you can keep working with the same yarn, but I want to change the color. And I'm taking my new color, and let me show you how to change color properly. So I'm going to undo the last stitch, because if you need to change the color, you need to do the last stitch in your first color a little bit differently. So I start the stitch the same way, yarn over, pull through, have 2 loops on the hook, and I need to stop before the last step. So then I drop my old color, I take my new color, I hold the new color in crochet position like that, and I finish a stitch with the new color. In this case, you see the last stitch is in gray, and my loop on the hook is in the new color is pink. So that's why my stitch will be very, very nice, and the color change will be very, very nice. So then I can make a knot, a double knot. This short end of the new color and the long end of working yarn of the old color. I'm going to make a double knot, and I can cut the old color so it will not be on my way, but leave a little bit longer end, so then it will be easy for us to hide this end later, to weave it in later. Okay, and we can work with our new color. So first of all, starting from this point, we will work in rounds. So before we were working flat, so we were turning our work all the time. From now on, we will work in rounds. So, and this is gonna be one side would be right side, another would be wrong side. And we need to make 15 stitches along each of the sides, along each of the 4 sides. We will start with chain 1, and we will turn our work like we were doing it before. And then we will skip this turning chain and do the in the next stitch you need to make 1 single crochet, and then you need to work to the end, to the last stitch of the first side. So make just 1 single crochet to the end of this side. So I'm doing my last stitch in this side. Then you need to count your stitches, so it's easy because it's in different colors, so you can count, and that should be still 15 stitches. Now you need to remember next rule. In every corner we will do 3 single crochet. So one is going to this side, another one will go to the other side, and the last one will be going to the corner. So how to do that? I need to add 2 more stitches into the same hole where I did my last single crochet. So I insert my hook into the same hole and I'm doing another stitch, which is stitch number 2, and then insert my hook into the same hole one more time, and I'm doing my 3rd stitch. And this is what you're supposed to have in every corner. And as you can see, I changed the direction of my work, changed the direction, and now I will work along this side. But before doing that, take a stitch marker and install the stitch marker under both loops of the 2nd stitch. So you always need to mark the middle stitch, the corner stitch. So these 3 stitches that we did in the same hole, we need to mark the 2nd stitch under both loops. So later when we'll come to this point, we will know that this is the corner stitch, and we will do 3 single crochet into that stitch. Okay, right now this is maybe the most complicated part of this tutorial, is to work along this edge. It's very hard right now because before we used to have very nice chain and it was easy to insert our hook into. Right now we don't have those chains. It's kind of complicated. But I still want you to have 15 stitches along this edge, including this first one. And the rule is that along every row you need to make 1 stitch. Remember when we were counting rows, so this ridge, that is 2 rows. So 1 and 2. That means along this ridge I need to make 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. So if we look at the last row, this one, it's good because it's in different color. I already did my first single crochet along that row. So that means right now I need to look at the next ridge and I need to make 2 single crochet along this ridge. And it doesn't really matter where you will insert your hook. Just make sure to go somewhere into the hole, like you can stretch it. You can go into this big hole, but make sure that you're not working too loose. Sometimes, especially if you're a beginner, some people, they work very, very loose and then they'll have holes. If you have a hole, so maybe it's better to pick just 1 border loop like this and make a single crochet. That doesn't really matter. What matters is the amount of stitches. And one more time, along this ridge I need to make 2 stitches. I already did 1. Then I go into the next hole. You will feel that in every next stitch you do, in every next hole you do a stitch. So I did 2 into this ridge, then 2 into the next one, 1 and 2, and I work like that to the very end. I'm almost at the end of this side, so if I count my stitches after the marker, I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stitches. That means I need to make 2 more stitches, and I have this spot, and I need to find the corner spot, the corner stitch. Remember when we were starting our work, this is our beginning edge, and we were working through the top loop only. So that means 2 other loops are still there, are remaining here. So I'm inserting my hook under those 2 loops, and I need to make my 3 stitches because this is the corner. So I did 1. So if I count right now, I will have 15. For this side is completed. Next one into the same hole. This is for the corner, and another one into the same hole. This is number 1 for the next side. But before moving further, I'm taking the stitch marker and I'm marking the corner stitch, the second stitch. I insert my stitch marker into the second stitch under both loops, like this. So, and now I need to work along the beginning edge, and I need to make 15 stitches. I already did one, so this one is very easy. You just go into the next hole under both loops and make a single crochet. And you work like that to the next corner. I almost at the end of this side. I have just one stitch left. If I count, I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 stitches after the marker. So that means I have one more space, and I'm doing my 3 single crochet into that space. One will be my 15th stitch for this side. Next is for the corner, and the last one into the same hole is the stitch for the last side. Okay, after that, take the stitch marker and place it under both loops of the second stitch, the corner stitch, like that. And we need to finish our round. This side is exactly the same like the second one, so nothing special. You just need to be careful and make sure that you see this row, you already did the stitch, so that means you need to do it along the second row. And then on every ridge you do 2 stitches, and you work like that to the end of this side. When you come closer to the end, please count how many stitches you have after the marker. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then the last one, I have a spot for the next stitch, but you should be very careful over here. So remember, the very beginning of the row, our first single crochet in the new color. So it's going from this hole, and that's the hole that we need to insert our hook into for our next stitch, because you know that we do 3 stitches into the same hole on every corner, and we already have 1, so that means I need to do just 2 more stitches into the same hole, 1 and another one into the same hole. And I'm taking my last stitch marker and installing it into the last stitch, because my last stitch is my corner stitch. And that's it. So that's what you're supposed to have after this round. So you need to have 4 stitches on your corners that you place markers into, and if you count your stitches in between of those markers, you're supposed to have 15 stitches. 15 stitches here, 15 stitches there, like 15 stitches everywhere. After that, it's very, very easy because we already have our markers. So you just make 1 single crochet in every single crochet from the previous row. Like starting from this first one, I'm doing 1 single crochet, and then another one into the next one, and I'll explain you what to do when I'll come to the marker. When you come to the marker, you need to take away the marker. So you see the next stitch is the marker stitch. I'm taking away the marker. This is my corner stitch. Markers always showing the corner stitch. So, and in the corner stitch, I'm doing 3 single crochet, and all of them will go into the same stitch. So I start with my first single crochet, then I'm doing another one into the same stitch, and the third one into the same stitch. Then please don't forget to take the marker and put it back into the second stitch, which is our new corner stitch, under both loops like this. And then make one single crochet in every following stitch to the next marker, and then you will do 3 single crochet into the next corner stitch, and you will work like that to the end, like all around. These 2 ends will show us the beginning of the round. So when you will come to this point, like you will work all around and come to that point, you will know that you finished 1 round. And you need to work like that for as many rounds as you want. I think that I'm gonna tell you how many rounds I will make at the end, but I think that in total my square should be around 6-7 inches. So right now I'm doing 1 single crochet in every next stitch till the next corner, and I'm gonna show you one more time how to deal with the marker. So you're coming to the marker. I'm doing 1 stitch that is before the marker, then taking away the marker, and next stitch is the corner stitch. So we need to do 3 single crochet into the next stitch. I'm doing my first single crochet over there, then into the same hole another one, and into the same hole last one. And if you stretch your work, you should see all 3 single crochet going from the same hole. This hole is getting a little bit bigger than other holes because you have 3 single crochet over there. And then please don't forget to put the marker back. So you skip the last single crochet and you find the second last and insert your marker under both loops like this. This is correct placement of a marker. And you work the same way, 1 single crochet in every next stitch till the next marker. Okay, I finished 8 rounds in total. So if I count my pink rounds, it's very easy if you use 2 different colors. So that would be 8 rounds. Let me show you how I count that. So the first pink round is here. So basically I'm counting every ridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you see these 2 ends, they're showing the beginning of the round, and that's exactly where I stopped. After that, yeah, and if I measure it, that would be around 6 inches. I think that's enough. Like you can make it bigger, it's up to you, but for me I think that's enough. Yeah, that's like that would be 6 inches. Yeah, that's 6 inches. So, or 15 centimeters if you use centimeters. And right now I want to change my color again back to the my first original color, back to the gray, and I will do just last round like decorative round. Okay, the first thing that we need to do, we need to change the color and we need to make a slip stitch into the next stitch. So I'm inserting my hook into the next stitch. I'm dropping my old color, taking my new color, gray, holding it in crocheting position like that, and finishing the stitch with the new color. And I'm doing a slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through the stitch, and pull through the loop on the hook like that. So after that I can flip it over and I can make a knot with my short end of the new color and the long end or working yarn of the old color. I'm gonna make a double knot and then I will cut the old color because I don't need it anymore. All right, now we will work around. So let's do our last round. So it's very, very easy. You need to do 4 chains. Then you skip the next stitch and you insert your hook into the second stitch and you do a slip stitch. And that's it. You repeat it all around. 4 chains. skip next stitch and insert your hook into the second one and make a slip stitch. And you will create, I even don't know how to call these things, like little petals, little scallops. It's very easy. 4 chains, skip next one and insert into the following and make a slip stitch. So work like this all around. And it's easy to see because you need to come to this corner. When you are coming to the corner, so you just need to take away the marker. We don't need that anymore. And you continue your pattern, which is 4 chains, skip next stitch and make a slip stitch into the second one. And keep working like that. Okay, I came to the last marker, so I worked all around. I'm taking away my last marker. And I need to come to the corner stitch, so I'm doing my last petal. So skip the next single crochet and going into the next one. And over here on this corner, I want to make a loop that we can use to hang the pot holder. So I will do, I don't know how many chains, maybe 10. Maybe 10 is not enough. No, let's do like 16. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 16 is good. And then I need to make a slip stitch into the same stitch. So I stretch my work, find the same stitch, insert my hook over there and make in my slip stitch to secure that loop. Okay, and I need to finish the round, so my last petal, 4 chains, and I'm doing my last slip stitch into the first chain where my first gray chain is going out, so like somewhere over there. I'm making a slip stitch. Okay. So after that, you can cut the working yarn. So let's cut the gray yarn and fasten it off. So take this yarn end, the last one, and pull it through the remaining loop. And you can tighten that. That's it. So now we need to hide all these yarn ends. The way of hiding it is exactly the same. So you need to use tapestry needle. So it's a needle with, or yarn needle, it's a needle with big hole. So you thread the yarn through the tapestry needle. If you like me, using different colors, so then let's say this gray yarn you need to weave in into the gray part. Pink yarn you will weave in into pink and gray into the gray. So what you do, you need to find any loop that is very close to your yarn, preferably in the same color, and you insert your needle under that loop, or it can be 2 loops, and you pull it through like that. So now you change the position of the yarn, and you need to find another loop that is close to your yarn, insert your needle under and pull through. So please be careful and don't pick loops that are far from your working yarn, because in this case you will create ugly floats. We don't want that. So try to find the closest loops to your yarn, and it's good if you change directions. And you need to work like that for some time. Like you see, our yarn was going from here, and I weaved in like till this point. So I think I can do it a little bit more, and then I can cut the excess yarn. So be careful over here. Try not to cut your crocheting fabric, but you need to cut very close to your work. The same way you weave in all the remaining yarn ends. And after you weaved in all the ends, you need to block your pot holder. You can wash it. Just look at the yarn label and wash it according to the care instructions on your yarn. Or because it's a pot holder, you don't really need to wash it right away. You can just iron it or steam it. That's what I did. I didn't wash it. I just ironed that, and you see the stitches look much better than before. And this is the final result. All right, thank you so much for being with me today. Please let me know if you need any questions on how to crochet this pot holder. All the links to materials and tools that I was using in this tutorial you can find in the description box below. If you're going to use my tutorial and make this pot holder and then post it on Instagram, please tag me. Here you can see my Instagram name. I really like to see what you're doing following my tutorials. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.